Hello guys, and welcome to this video where I will show you a Hotlap around Silverstone, then the setup I use, and finally the race strategy. So let's jump right into the Hotlap. Coming into turn 1 you don't want to brake but just take it flat out, start turning in just before the 50 meter board. Still going flat out around turn 2 and then you want to brake as the curve begins, shifting down to 3rd gear and then try to push the throttle before braking into turn 4 where you go down to 2nd gear and just cruise around the corner at around 50% throttle. And then when the car is straight, go full throttle and keep it down through turn 5 and then remember the DRS. Then when coming down to turn 6 you want to brake just after the 50 meter board down to 4th gear and you can cut this corner a bit more than I did. Then turn 7 can be a bit tricky, but I brake around here, so just going into the corner and then I go down to 2nd but short shift up to 3rd and 4th. And then as soon as possible you want to go full throttle to get maximum speed coming into the straight. Then coming into Cup's corner I like to go off the throttle a bit and down to 7th gear just so you stay inside the track. And then for Maggots and Beckett shift down to 7th gear and cut this as much as possible. And then just before this line go down to 6th gear, going on the curb with your wheels, and then for the last brake when you are in the middle of the two corners going down to 4th gear, then full throttle and remember the DRS. Then for turn 15 you want to brake just after the curve begins, going down to 5th gear to get the rotation and then up to 6th gear again. Coming down to turn 16 you want to brake when the 100 meter board goes out of view, hit the apex, short shift to 3rd and 4th, and then don't hit the sausage curbs, otherwise you'll just end up spinning. Then follow the track over the line and we did a 1:27.1. But we still have some time to gain. So the setup is actually really stable but still fast, so let's take a look at it. So for the aerodynamics we use 16 on the front and 15 on the rear, and for transmission it was 60 and 52. Then geometry it was all the way to the right for the camber and all the way to the left on the toe. Suspension was 3-3, then 3-5 for anti-roll bar, and then 3-3 again for the ride height. Brakes were 150 and then the front tires were 23.8 while the rears were 22.5. So that was the setup, and then let's jump right into the race strategy. So the strategy for this race is going to be medium hards, and you can actually underfuel the car a bit, but put around 26.0 laps to be sure. Change the tire pressure to around 22.8 on the fronts and 20.8 on the rears, and then off to the race we go. So get some heat into the tires and then hit the purple. We started P9 so we had a lot of people to overtake, but we really had a great start going on the outside and then we were P5 coming into turn 3. Then I just wanted to show you a lap on the mediums with high fuel, so in turn 1 go down to 7th gear instead of 8 as I did. Other than that do the same as in the Hotlap in the low speed corners, while in the high speed corners such as Cups and Maggots and Beckets go with a bit lower throttle to make the car stable going around it. I brake just a bit before going into Cups just to make sure I don't spin out or exceed track limits. But other than that you can see that it is almost the same as in the Hotlap. And the tires did not get too hot either, so that was great. When you're driving behind someone make sure you brake a bit earlier than you usually do, because you never know how they brake exactly. So to make sure that you don't hit them, just brake a bit before usual and then you're good to go. And then coming across the line we did a 1:31.5, so that was okay, but we didn't get fastest lap on the mediums. But after 5 laps we had around 27% tire wear, so there is about 5% each lap on the mediums. That means at the end of lap 12 you have around 60% tire wear, so go into the pits. You want to brake at around 100 meters so you don't exceed the 60 kilometers. Make sure to turn in when it shows 0.5 to hit the purple, and then remember coming out of the pits the tires are cold, so brake before usual until they're up to temperature. Then after 3 laps we got fastest lap in time 1:31.3 and we had around 11% tire wear, so on the hards it is around 3 to 4% each lap. And at the end of last lap we had just got ahead of Sainz, so we got our P1. But our fuel load was plus 1.7 laps, so use what I said in the beginning of the race. Our tires were around 52%, so that was actually pretty great. But that was it from me. If you want more of this, please like and subscribe to my channel. And then I'll see you in the next one.